Hey guys, it's Ryan from The Surfer's Journey, and today's video is how to sharpen up your skill set as an intermediate level surfer. How do we take things to the next level? And guys, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe now. And remember to follow us on Instagram and check out our website at www.thesurfersjourney.com.au. But for now, let's get into today's lesson of the week. So as an intermediate level surfer, I'm going to assume that you can perform bottom turns, basic maneuvers, re-entries, carves, maybe roundhouse cutbacks, and that you can link them together from time to time. But you want to take things to that next level. The first thing we're going to talk about to get there is section selection. Focusing on this one key area could take your surfing to the next level far quicker than you could imagine.
This wave here is a great example of good section selection, but it's also a good example of bad turning selection. But here you can see I'm doing a bottom turn and I'm looking to get right in the pocket of this wave. And ideally I probably could have gone more vertical if I'm really trying to advance my surfing and put that board up for a re-entry. I've gone a little bit too far on the shoulder, and you can see on this snap that I've done here, it wasn't very committed. I hardly put the board on rail, and ultimately that all equaled a very underwhelming turn that could have been way better. You can see again I set up for another bottom turn for another top turn. Now this is the turn I should have done on the previous section, but you can see that that section was quite fat and flat and it didn't look as good. This wave here is a good example of good section selection and a good turning choice. You can see I pushed that maneuver much harder and it looked better and it felt way better for me as well. Let's break that down a little bit closer though. Again, I'm doing the same thing. I've dropped down to do a bottom turn. You can see I performed that maneuver high and tight right in the pocket. This time I've held it on rail for longer. I looked back down to the power source, which meant that that snap was much better. It's also set me up for a better position on this turn here. I'm closer to the pocket, and as we know, you want to stay high and tight close to the pocket. Your turns will look better, feel better, and you'll maintain your speed for the duration of that wave. This wave is another great example of why it's so important to stay close to the power source when you're performing your maneuvers, regardless of what that section's doing. This section here was a little bit fatter and a little bit flatter, but by staying close to the power source, I'm maximizing the steepness of that section. You can see here the wave's really starting to die, and I'm still using the same technique, literally the same turn, but that maneuver felt and looked far worse than the one before it. So it's all about choosing the better waves that are going to give you the better sections. So how do we actually do that? How do we surf and position ourselves close to the power source? Well, it starts with having a more vertical approach, but you do that when the wave allows. In this case, this wave has allowed for it. You can see I took off, went straight down to the bottom of the wave to perform my bottom turn, and I'm looking up to stay as close to the pocket as I can. By doing that, it sets me up for success down the line as well after I perform that maneuver. So if you feel like you surf in a more horizontal fashion, something that you could try and do is to surf more vertically, which means dropping down to the wave, doing that bottom turn, looking up to the power source, and trying to stay more top to bottom surfing instead of more lateral horizontal maneuvers. Again, the wave has to allow for that. And this wave here is a great example of what can happen when you do that. You're able to perform more vertical maneuvers like re-entries and fin releases like I've done here. And you can see the differences between these two maneuvers by having a section that was steeper, allowed me to release the fins much easier than the section before it, which was fatter and flatter.
So now that we understand how choosing the right section could massively change the the same maneuver using the same techniques. But now let's talk about how we can actually make little technique changes to our maneuvers to add to that. How we can make re-entries and carves that much more critical.
Now this re-entry didn't feel very good, and I also think it didn't really look that good, and that's because it was quite flat and it wasn't very explosive. So if you feel like your re-entries feel like that and possibly look like that, well, the next thing you need to do is try and make them more explosive by pushing out your back leg as you perform that re-entry. So the second half of that maneuver, as you come out of your bottom turn and you get your board up onto the lip, you want to try and get your front foot above the lip. Now as you pushing your board back down, you're looking and rotating back down to the beach, you want to explosively push out your back leg. As you dump your weight onto your front leg, you throw your arms up in the air to try and create weightlessness to actually release that tail. This is going to take your re-entries to the next level by enabling you to release the fins. So we've spoken about why you need to surf when you can in a more vertical fashion by dropping down and really utilizing a strong, powerful bottom turn straight up into a more vertical top turn or re-entry, depending on what that section throws at you. This is the reason why. It gives you that speed and power to throw more spray, to have more speed, more power at the top of the wave. And once you get all of these things right, your turns are going to feel so much better.
The last point we're going to discuss, which is going to help really sharpen up your current level of surfing, is all about speed and flow. These 2 points are the icing on the cake in addition to everything that we've already discussed.
Roundhouse cutbacks, snaps, re-entries, carves, bottom turns, it doesn't matter what the turn is. The more speed you have when you perform these maneuvers, the better they're going to feel for you and the better they're going to look. But in addition to that, they're going to help you surf with flow, because if you surf with more speed, it's going to enable you to link your turns together with a lot more ease. It's also going to allow you to perform more critical maneuvers, because the more speed you have, the more critical those turns are going to be and the more you can actually do. For example, you can throw more spray. You can keep that board on rail for longer when you're doing your carves. You can release the fins. You can try reverses, airs, whatever it is that you're actually striving for. But you can never have too much speed. And this is something that every surfer should try and strive to achieve by generating and maintaining as much speed as they can for the duration of their waves. And once you can achieve that, the next step is linking your maneuvers together with flow, which basically means that there's not too much downtime between your maneuvers. No more than 2 speed pumps was a lesson that I was taught by one of the world's best surf coaches. And his reason for that was that you wouldn't actually waste turning opportunities by just racing the whole wave. By having a maximum of 2 speed pumps only would mean that you would then perform a maneuver and hopefully get into a good groove and then link your turns together without any downtime. And the gold standard would be that we can link our turns together with no downtime and no speed pumps. But that's going to take a lot of practice and really good wave selection to get that down. But it's worth dedicating time and energy to trying to achieve.
Guys, thanks for watching the video today. I hope that as an intermediate level surfer, now you understand how you can take your surfing to that next level, how you can make your re-entries more critical, how you can make your carves more critical, make your bottom turns more critical, how you can introduce flow into your surfing, and how you can basically just sharpen up your current skill level. If you have any questions about anything I've mentioned today, you can hit me up in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, guys. Chat to you soon. If you want help taking your surfing to the next level, we do offer surf coaching face-to-face. We're based in South Australia, but we can travel around Australia if required. And for those of you who are international, but you still want to work with us, you can access video analysis online. So if you can get footage of yourself surfing, you can send it to me and I'll be able to analyze it and send you back a detailed analysis of your surfing and what you need to do to progress on your current level. You can find out more about all of this on our website at www.thesurfersjourney.com.au.